Hello and welcome to Grand Prix Motorcycle Race. Oh my goodness, hey, this is an on your own problem, so you should have done the entire problem on your own. You have your paper in front of you, and now you're watching this video to check your work and make sure you did a fantastic job. Which I am sure you did. Okay, so let's move on with the scenario. You and your family go to the Grand Prix Motorcycle Race every year. Each competitor must ride his or her bike, motorcycle, like this one, 9,732 miles in just 12 days. Let's write that stuff down here. Okay, so I've got 9,732 miles that is ridden in just 12 days, right? Okay, so now your challenge is to figure out how many miles must each rider ride their motorcycle each day, right? So that's really a division problem. So we're going to write our area box here, and we've got the 9,732 miles that they must ride inside the area box, and we're dividing that by 12 because they've got 12 days to ride this many miles, right? Now, if you notice, for the 12, I didn't write my ones because you don't need to, because anything times 1 is just that number. I did write my 2s right here, and then I also wrote it again. I didn't really need to write it, but I wanted to show you that for estimation, I always bump up, right? And so I got my estimation of 2s here, which is really going to be bumping the 12 up to 20. So let's go ahead and work through here. First of all, I'm trying to see how many times 12 will fit into 9,732. Now, I know that the 12 will fit into the 97, so I need 2 zeros for the tens column and the ones column. So I'm going to write a 0 here and a 0 right there. And then I'm using my estimation of the 2s here because I'm going to estimate this as 20, right? I'm going to bump this 12 up to 20 for my estimations, right? So now I'm looking at 20 and going with each of these digits, they're actually have a 0 behind them. But before I do that, I'm going to write down that 0 times 12 is going to give me a 0 here, and then this 0 times 12 will give me another 0 here, and now I'm ready to estimate. And this is, since this has a 0 behind it, this is really 20, then 40, 60, 80, and this is 100, which is too much for the 97. So I'm going to go with the 80. That means I'm going to multiply by 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm going to plug a 4 right there, and let's go ahead and do that right now. Then I've got 4 times 2, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's going to give me 8. So I'm going to drop an 8 right there. And then, working with my real number again, 4 times 1 is going to give me a 4 right there. So I got a 4 right here. And then I'm going to subtract these numbers. Now, before I do, I always like to look for any trouble coming. And I've got no trouble here, but lo and behold, I've got trouble coming right here because I cannot take 7 and subtract 8. So I'm going to borrow from the 9. I'm going to turn that 9 into an 8 and turn this 7 into 17. And now I am good to go because I can subtract. So I'll add my next area box. I'm going to plug it in right here. And then I've got the 2 minus 0 is going to give me 2. And 3 minus 0 is going to give me 3. And then 17 minus 8 is going to give me 9. Drop my 9 there. And then 8 minus 4 is going to give me 4 right here, right? And now, if we look here, you can see that the 12 can still fit into the 49 here. So I'm going to add another group in the hundreds column here. I'll add 2 more zeros. Before I do that, I'm going to move this over here and shrink it so I have a little bit more room to work. So now, once again, I'm going to be looking for the 49. I'm going to actually add these 2 zeros first. So a 0 here and a 0 here. And then 0 times 12 is going to give me a 0 here, and 0 times 12 is going to give me another 0 here. I'm going to just make this a little bigger so it's easier to write these zeros in here. And now, as you see, I'm ready to rock and roll. So I'm looking at the 49 here, so I'm going to use the estimation of 20, right? And this would be 20, 40, 60, which is too much, so I'm going to come back here. That means I'm multiplying by 1, 2, so I'm going to plug another 2 right here. Let me enlarge this so I can write a little neater, and I'll write my 2 there. And now I'm working with the real digits of the 12, right? So let me just do that right here, and I've got 2 times 2, which is going to give me 1, 2, 4, right? So drop a 4 right there. And next I've got the 2 times 1, which is going to give me a 2 right there, because anything times the number is going to give me that number. And let's go ahead and see what I've got now. So first thing I want to do is look for any trouble coming. Woo! And I'm going to use my subtraction sign. I've got no trouble, no trouble, no trouble, and no trouble. So I am ready to add my next area box. And I'm going to do 2 minus 0 is going to give me 2. And 3 minus 0 is going to give me 3 right there. And then 9 minus 4 is going to give me a 5 right there. And 4 minus 2 is going to give me a 2 right here. And if you notice, let's just look up here, we can still fit the 12 into the 25. So I'm going to need 2 more place values here. Now I'm going to show you something before I do. Let's enlarge this so I have a little bit more room. I'm going to make a 0 here and a 0 here, and then I've got the 0 times 2 is, or 0 times 12 is going to give me a 0 down here, right? And then the 0 times the 12 is going to give me another 0 down here, right? Now, if you notice, this 12 actually would fit in there exactly well, not exactly, but it would fit in there 2 times and it would give you 24. But because I'm trying to show you guys the fact that if you estimate low, like this could really be estimated at 10, it would be quicker, but you also run the risk of going over, and then you've got to erase. So the reason I do this is that you would never actually go over. It does mean doing more area boxes here, right? And I am going to do it that way because if you notice here, if I did use the 2 for my estimation, I would have 20 and then 40, which is too much here for the 25. So I'm going to end up adding 2 more times. If you ended up putting a 2 here right away, then that's fine as well, so long as you get the correct answer at the top. Actually, if you estimated and you got 8 right away, you'll see that'll be the actual answer. But let's go ahead and continue this on with estimating as 20, and then we know this will go in there 1 time. So I'm going to write a 1 here, which will give me 12. And then when I subtract, I have no trouble coming anywhere, right? So I'll make another area box and put this right here. And then I'm going to get 2 minus 0 is going to give me 2. 3 minus 0 will give me 3. 5 minus 2 will give me 3 right here. And 2 minus 1 will give me 1 right here. So I've got the 1 right there. Now, if you notice, the 12 can fit into the 13 exactly 1 more time. So what we'll do is we'll put the 2 zeros up here. And right there and there. And another one right there. And now I can just plug in the 0 times 12 is 0. 0 times 12 is 0, and then 1 times 12 will give me 12. So I'm going to go 0 and 0, and then the 12 right there. And when I subtract, let's see what happens then. But first, I must check for trouble coming. None, 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 and none. So let's go ahead and make our next area box. So now, right here, and I've got 2 minus 0 is going to give me 2. 3 minus 0 will give me 3. And 3 minus 2 is going to give me 1. So plug a 1 right there. And then 1 minus 1 is 0, so I don't have to worry about that. So now I'm looking at this 12 here. going into the 132, and 12 will actually go into the 13, so I'm going to add 1 0 up here. Do that right there, and then 0 times 12 will give me a 0 right here. Bam. And then I'm going to put a 1 right here because 12 will fit in here. So I'm going to go ahead and write my 1 right there. And then 1 times 12 will give me 12 right here. And now I'm ready to subtract. I've got no trouble coming, no trouble coming, and no trouble coming. So I'm going to go ahead and make my next area box right there. And now I've got 2 minus 0 is going to give me 2. I'm going to enlarge this so I've got a little bit more room. And then 3 minus 2 is going to give me 1. And 1 minus 1 zeroes out. I don't have to worry about it at all. And now if you notice, I've got the 12 here, which will fit into the 12 exactly 1 time. So I'm going to move this up. I'm going to write a 1 right there. And then 1 times 12 will give me 12 down here. So let's go ahead and write the 12 in. And when I subtract, that's going to zero out. So let's take a look now. So now we're really all done other than just adding these up. So I'm going to draw my line here, and I'm adding these up this way. So I'll get all the zeros into 1 right there. And then these zeros and the 1 right there. And then I'm adding 4 plus 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7, plus 1 is 8. So I've got a 1 right there. I mean, an 8 right there. And 811 is your answer. So let's come back to our scenario here, right? You're with your family at the Grand Prix Motorcycle Race, and each of these racers have to race 9,732 miles, and they've got to do that in just 12 days. So you're trying to figure out how many miles they go each day, right? Well, that means you're taking 9,732 and you're dividing it by 12. And when you do that, now there was a lot of estimating that was going on, which means we needed to add extra boxes, right? And add up. If you even estimated and you knew it was 8 right away, that's fine. You'd have 800. Either way, it's 811 miles that the riders had to ride each day. So right there is your answer. Hey, if you made a mistake along the way, no worries at all. Simply pause the video, fix your mistake. That is the fastest way to learn. Until next time, I hope you have a fantastic day. Sayonara for now, my friend. And now, on to counting by the numbers. This is a great strategy for anybody who does not have all their multiplication facts memorized. Counting by threes. Ready? Here we go. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. Counting by fours. Ready? And 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40. Counting by sixes. Here we go. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60. Counting by sevens, here we go. 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56, 63, 70. 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56, 63, 70. 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56, 63, 70. And counting by eights, here we go. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72, 80. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72, 80. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72, 80. Counting by nines, here we go. 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, 81, 90. 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, 81, 90. 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, 81, 90.